There's a reason this hit you right now. In this exact moment when you're watching things change without you deciding they would, when the shit that used to work isn't working anymore, when you feel something moving underneath everything and you can't stop it. If you're here, you're in the last clear minute before the flip happens. Not because I'm psychic, but because you're in that specific spot where you can still see what's happening before it's already done. That moment right before everything tips, when you can feel it building but you haven't crossed yet. When who you were is falling apart, but who you're becoming hasn't shown up. This is it. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. This found you because part of you already knows you're losing control, and seeing that as the last chance you get to move with it instead of getting dragged. Let me tell you what's going on. You've been trying to steer something that's already moving. You've been fighting forces that already decided where they're going, and every time you tried to keep the old direction, hold the old structure, keep carrying what you've been carrying, it got harder. Not because you fucked up, but because what's coming isn't about trying harder anymore. It's about getting out of the way. You've been working to keep things stable when you're being pulled into a complete reset. You've been trying to manage how fast this happens when it's already decided it happens now. You've been hoping to control the timing when what's actually happening is a switch that flips all at once. The control you wanted wasn't denied. It just became pointless. Because trying to drive what's already driving itself was just keeping you out of sync with where the energy is actually going. But here's the real part. You're at this edge, not because you finally got smart. You're here because what you were doing finally stopped working completely. You're here because the systems you built aren't responding. Because the version of you that you've been maintaining is coming apart. Because some part of you looked at everything you're holding recently and felt something you haven't felt this clearly before. I can't do this anymore. I can't hold this position. I can't keep this up. I can't carry this version of me through what's coming. I can't control what's already moving. That moment, that's not failing. That's not breaking down. That's the last second of seeing clearly before everything flips automatically. And once you see that the turn is already happening, once you realize you're not driving it, everything becomes about moving with it, not fighting it. You're not stuck where you are. Read that again. You're not stuck where you are. It doesn't matter what you built your life around. It doesn't matter what version of yourself you've been playing or what role everyone expects. It doesn't matter what you put into it or what you told yourself was permanent. It doesn't matter how long you've been this way or what you gave up to stay here. You're not locked into what you built. You're not defined by the version you've been holding together. You're not required to keep defending the position you took. You're not obligated to carry what stopped carrying you. Where you are isn't permanent. It's not fixed. And the second you actually see that, the second you stop thinking of yourself as the one who has to maintain a fixed structure and start seeing yourself as something being moved by forces bigger than your plan, everything loosens. Let me show you what I mean. There's a moment in every river when the current changes direction. To anything on top, it looks like chaos. The water churns, the pressure spikes. Everything moving one way suddenly gets pulled into turbulence. And if the water could think, it would think it's falling apart. But that chaos, that's not destruction, that's the turn. That's the only way the river can change direction without breaking into pieces. You can't turn while keeping the old flow. You have to let the current reorganize you so the new direction can happen. And right now, you're in that turn. You're in the chaos. And it feels like you're losing yourself, but you're not losing yourself. You're being turned. And what comes out of this is a direction you couldn't get to if you stayed in the old flow. Stayed comfortable going the old way, stayed being the version everyone knew. This moment isn't about becoming someone new. It's about finally stopping the exhausting work of staying the same. It's about looking at the positions you've been holding and saying, I can't hold this through the turn. Looking at the versions of yourself that drain you and saying, this doesn't make it through. Looking at the control you keep trying to have and saying, I can't do this anymore. Looking at who you've been defending and saying, when does this actually change? This is when you stop negotiating with the position you've been stuck in and start letting go into what's already moving, the movement you've been fighting, because it meant losing too much. trusting too much, being willing to lose the version of you that people counted on, staying the same. And here's what nobody says about turns. They don't need you to understand where you're going. They don't need you to see what's next. They just need you to see what's already moving. Not blame for being in the wrong spot. Not shame for holding on too long or fighting what was already happening, but just seeing where the actual movement is. Seeing whether you go with it or keep fighting. Seeing whether you let it turn you or burn yourself out trying to stay where you were. The second you stop seeing yourself as the one controlling the direction and start seeing yourself as someone being turned by something already in motion, the system stops treating you like you're in the way and starts letting you move with it. You don't need big changes to go with it. You don't need to blow up your whole life by tomorrow. You just need to let go of one thing you're holding. Drop one position when you've been rigid. Relax one grip when you've been clenched. Stop defending one version instead of keeping it up. Move with one impulse instead of questioning it for an hour. Stop negotiating with one person who keeps you locked in old patterns. Stop explaining yourself to people who need you to stay the same. Let go of one belief about who you have to be. Say what's actually true instead of what you think you should say. One release. That's it. Because small releases in the direction of the turn add up faster than you think. One becomes two, two becomes four. And 6 months from now, you won't recognize where you were when you started. Not because you became perfect, but because you stopped fighting. Because you let go. Because you let the turn move you instead of exhausting yourself trying to stay put. Now, here's what matters right now. If something in this hit you, if you felt that recognition that you're in the last clear moment, that the turn is already going, that you can't control it but you can move with it, notice what happens in your body when you stop fighting. Notice what lets go. Because when you stop resisting what's already moving, when you admit your position isn't permanent, something shifts in your system. You stop defending. You drop the grip. And your body knows this isn't just another moment of insight that's gone by tomorrow. This is crossing over. The moment you stopped trying to control the turn and started moving with it. The moment you stopped being who you were holding together and started becoming what's moving through you. And if you know someone who's burning out, trying to control what's already changing, someone who's fighting shifts that are already happening, someone who needs permission to stop holding their ground, send this to them. Ask them to notice where they're fighting. Let that be the moment where moving with it becomes possible. Here's what happens after you cross. You become someone who moves with change instead of against it. Not just this time, every time. Your future won't repeat the pattern of holding until you break. People around you will see what's possible when someone stops fighting and starts flowing. You'll look back at this and see it as when everything fundamentally shifted. Not because the turn got easy to understand, but because you became someone who could move with forces bigger than your control. You stopped being the one holding a fixed position and became someone who flows with what's actually happening. Not someone who collapses, someone who moves, someone who sees when the current is turning, someone who knows where you are isn't forever just because it felt permanent. And that person, that's who you've always been, under all the rigidity and fear and need to control everything. That's who's been waiting for you to get tired enough of holding your ground to finally let go. You didn't need permission to release. You didn't need perfect understanding. You didn't need more information or more preparation or more certainty about what comes next. You just needed to see that the turn was already happening, to see that your position was temporary, to let the old way dissolve so the new one could form. You've been holding that spot long enough. You've fought the turn long enough. You've told yourself that staying stable was safer than risking the change. But the change is here. You feel it. That's why this found you. That's why you're still reading. That's why something in you is saying, yes, this is it. This is the moment. So, let me ask you before this moment closes. What are you letting go of? What position are you done holding? What shifts here? What version stops getting defended here? Because this is your moment. Not when you understand everything. Not when you feel ready. Not when everyone else gets it. Right now, while the current is turning, while the old way is falling apart, while you're still in the chaos, but finally seeing which way the actual movement is going. The life you've been asking for isn't waiting for you to get better at controlling it. It's waiting for you to drop the position you've been defending. And once you drop it, once you move with it, once you see that the turn isn't something you drive but something you ride, everything speeds up. The resistance you were holding dissolves. The energy you were using to stay put shows up for what's actually coming. The clarity you've been chasing appears in the movement itself, not because the turn suddenly decided you were ready, but because you finally decided you were done fighting it. You're not a victim of forces you can't control. You're not stuck in a spot that can't change. You're not locked into who you've been or what role you've been playing. You're in the turn. And what comes out of this moment, from this release, from this moving with what's already happening, is going to change everything, including the version of you that thought it had to stay in control. So, let go, drop it, become someone who moves with change, become someone who sees the turns, become proof that your position isn't permanent, and that's exactly what lets you move. Because if you don't, if you let this moment pass like the others, if you go back to defending what's already falling apart, then what was all that exhaustion for? What was all that fighting for? If you don't move with what's already moving, you've been stuck in the chaos long enough. The turn is happening. You're just deciding if you cross it moving with it or fighting it. And you'll only see this clearly right now, right before it completes. After the flip, this recognition won't be there anymore. The window closes when the turn finishes. This is it, right here, the last clear second before everything shifts. Everything after this is the new direction. So, stop holding, stop defending, stop trying to maintain what's already dissolving. The turn doesn't need your control, it needs you to move with it. And if you're seeing this, you're standing in the exact second where that choice is still yours. After this, it decides for you. You'll only see this now.